The Dodge Hellcat Charger Widebody Redeye, which is quite a long vehicle name, is one of the most hysterical, absurd, and crazy four-door sedans to ever be built. I've been fortunate to drive a lot of pretty fast cars, but very few things can match the ridiculousness of this Redeye. What is it? Well, a 797 horsepower supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that we're familiar with as the Hellcat, which has now proliferated among from the Challenger Chargers to the Jeep Trackhawk. We have the Durango Hellcat that we spent some time with, and now the Ram TRX too. But in the widebody four-door Charger now, it's essentially like a four-door Demon, and it's unbelievable. When you get in a hook, like I'm able to do today, because it's no longer raining and wet, it is just endless amounts of power and torque. Like I said, 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. This thing is also a burnout machine on command. It will do burnouts on demand. You plant your foot with traction control fully on, you will break the tires loose, you will get this thing to smoke them, you will have the rear end wiggling. It is that absurd. It is unbelievably hilarious. That's my introduction on the Redeye, because it's just given me giggles, and everybody who I've taken a ride for has been just laughing uncontrollably when we're driving and riding in this vehicle. From a technical standpoint, what is it? Well, this Charger platform's been around for a bit, and they've continued to refine it, and now it's the world's most powerful, fastest, four-door muscle car. Production, mass-produced. You can just go to a Dodge dealer and get one of these, as long as you have this one stickered for 86 grand. You can have yourself a nearly 800 horsepower sedan. Rear-wheel drive only, 8-speed, beefed up 8-speed ZF automatic torque converter, but it'll shift really quick. It's like, I think they quoted 160 milliseconds for shifts, and when you use the paddle shifters, like downshifts are extremely quick. Oh, yep, no grip. Oh my God. Listen to that supercharger whine too. This four-door sedan, which is not by any means a light vehicle, will do the quarter mile in 10.6 seconds out of the box from the factory. It will do 203 miles an hour. That is faster than my Shelby GT350R's top speed. That is faster than my Audi R8's top speed. That is as fast as Ferraris and Lamborghinis in terms of top speed. Is that usable? No, there are a few places where you can actually get to 200 miles an hour, and especially in a big, heavy four-door sedan, but just sheer bragging rights that this thing will do over 200 miles an hour. What do they change for the Redeye? Well, it makes a lot of power, all these things. We also have the widebody, which is critical, because the original Hellcats, the ones I've driven, already kind of struggled for grip. When I say kind of struggled, they struggled to put down 700 horsepower. And Redeye widebody means widened fenders, 3.5 inches? I almost said 3.5 meters. That would not make any sense. 3.5 inches wider, which means fatter tires. 305 section tires all around. This one's on the 20-inch by 11 brass monkey wheels, which look really cool on this light gray smoke show paint. But 305s all around to help you put some of the power down. Is it successful? I mean, I just put it into sport, which means now sport traction, and I'm just gonna bury the throttle. Oh, it hooked. Okay, it's warm out and dry. Okay, see, when I was doing that yesterday, it didn't hook. And the day before, it didn't hook either. So actually, that was impressive. I caught myself by surprise. In terms of exterior styling, the Redeye can be distinguished by a couple little red eyes in the Charger Hellcat badges, so on the fenders on either side. But interestingly, the front and rear Hellcat badges are regular. Little badge on the dash there. Obviously, it's widened with the brass monkey wheels that I mentioned. This is a new color. It's got a different hood that is functional too. 797 horsepower means a lot of heat too, so you gotta have airflow. Otherwise, we're familiar with this latest generation of the Charger. I think it looks pretty awesome, wide body, really aggressive, and I've noticed a lot of people looking at it too. Like some guy drove by in an E46 M3 and his head was turned all the way around looking at the fender badge. I don't know if he understand that this is 797 horsepower, but he definitely was looking. On the inside, some things are starting to feel a little bit more dated. This is the Uconnect 8.4-inch screen. I forget which Uconnect It might be Uconnect 4 or 5, 4. So obviously the Hellcat Durango that we just spent some time with is much newer. The Rams have the newer vertical oriented screen. This was great when it first came out, and now as the market's gone on with newer platforms, it's starting to feel a little bit older. I don't mind it. Still works pretty well. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are available, and you have your SRT dashboard pulled up right now. So that pulls up some cool information about how I'm making 797 horsepower available. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. You can break the tires loose whenever you want. I'm struggling so hard to be like responsible in this car because it just makes you want to be a complete just Oh man. Okay, back to the more technical things. On the inside, I mentioned Apple CarPlay. We have the carbon fiber and suede interior packs. We have suede headliner across here. It does have a couple touches for Redeye. When you turn on the car, you get the Hellcat logo with the red eye inside on the splash screen there. And we also have the red key. So it indicates that, look, we have the red key on. Oh, I can't actually see that, but look, I just dropped it. We have pretty comfortable seats, plenty of space. It's the mix between black and demonic red leather all over. Pretty hefty size steering wheel because all the FCA products have the toggles on the back of the steering wheel for like volume and audio track control. The paddle shifters are kind of smaller, just the top half sitting right there. But these things on the inside, I mean, I'll tell you, you fit 4 full-size adults, 6'3", plenty spacious. And here, what's really important about this car is just that all day long. Yes, please. I've driven regular Hellcat, heavily modified Hellcat Challenger, a Demon TRX. This is so different from the Demon, because again, the Demon was pretty much like a drag car for the road, and then the TRX and Hellcat Durango, because those had 4 wheels, power going to all 4 wheels to really put the power down. It's a handful. Is it the most practical of the Hellcat lineup vehicles? No. Is it the most fun? But very possible. The fact you can put all these people in the car and just go demolish tires and pretty much put bust lengths on anything short of like a twin turbo Huracan. Yeah. I've had so much fun with this car. Now, are there any downsides to it? I've mentioned a couple things on the insides, feeling a little bit aged. Fuel efficiency. Actually, fuel efficiency isn't bad. You would expect it to be terrible. The window sticker says 12 city, 21 highway, 15 combined. I did a 600-mile round-trip drive and 300 miles on the way to Michigan from Chicago. I averaged 23 mpg. Now, I was being pretty efficient, 75 miles an hour cruise control. I wasn't doing any crazy pulls on the freeway. I averaged 23 mpg in a vehicle capable of 797 horsepower. There is a eco mode, which makes only 500 horsepower, which to me is hilarious. And when you're in 500 horsepower mode, you can feel a difference. You step on it, it's still quick, but it's nowhere near the absurdity of the full out 800 horsepower mode. So I'll say that is absolutely noticeable. What are the other downsides? It's big, it feels pretty heavy. The turning radius is abysmal. I went to park in a parking lot this morning on a grocery trip run, and I just went to flip essentially a U-turn and overshot by so much. I was like, whoa, this thing is not making it. 305s all around, big, heavy. I mean, yeah, that's something. But otherwise, it's pretty hilarious. And anytime anybody says anything bad about your Hellcat Redeye, you can just do that, and it's all gone. It's taken away. This thing will do a full burnout with traction control on. What? We have adjustable Bilstein dampers on this now 3 position, and with these SRT drive modes, we have track, sport, custom, auto. Auto just kind of is in eco mode most of the time and will respond if you're going kind of crazier. I have custom set up, or it was already set up in this vehicle to have sport everything. So the full power, transmission in sport, paddle shifters available, suspension and steering in sport, but traction in street, because when it was a little damp out, I still kind of wanted traction control to intervene. Sport, again, the only difference I have this one set up to is a traction in sport. I haven't actually gone in track because I've been on the road this whole time, and you have to respect this power. If you aren't used to driving vehicles of this power level, I could see people getting themselves in big trouble really quickly. this is an actual four-door like drag car. When I say four-door Demon, I'm not kidding. We have line lock available stock. We have variable RPM launch control, anywhere between 1,000 RPM to 2,500 RPM launch control. Post-race, it can continue to run the supercharger and cool the entire system there. So we've got a chiller mode there. What else do we have? I mean, the fact that it has line lock and launch control should tell you enough things about this. And when I say like a four-door Demon, yeah, it really does echo that sentiment. Compared to the competitors out there, this vehicle here is stickered for just under $87,000. You can spend a ton more to get less power in a German luxury sedan like an M5 or an AMG or Audi RS7. You can get something like a Cadillac CT-SV with the supercharged LT4 making 650 horsepower, which those are definitely fast, but nothing short of a $500,000 Ferrari can touch this in terms of just sheer horsepower output, and there are very few things that can match this in terms of hilarity. I can't tell you guys the amount of times that I took a turn and gave it half throttle, legitimately just like trying to drive normal, and the rear end was like, whoop, let's go out this way. And I was like, okay, all right. And even half throttle acceleration pulls, the whine of the supercharger is overwhelming. We were out with some coworkers and they were like, have you heard the car from outside? I'm like, not recently. And like, you can hear the supercharger whine so clearly. What else is there? I guess continuing about the value discussion. These types of vehicles are going to be around for much longer. Dodge, I believe, just announced that they're going to be doing an electric muscle car, e-muscle. It's hilarious that somehow a 700 horsepower supercharged factory V8 was given the approval for production. I love that it exists. I love that they continue to push it further. Are there more comfortable, better handling sedans out there? Absolutely. But I'm willing to bet you in most situations, very few of them are going to match just the absurdity, the hilarity of this Hellcat Redeye. Pretty much the entire time driving this car, I've got a big smile on my face. Absolutely. And it's fast. Oh my God. It pulls like a freight train. If I haven't made that clear, it does not ever stop accelerating. I may or may not have accelerated to a velocity that was decently high. It was fun. It was fun. And something I internally kind of judge how popular a car would be, and the kind of the perception is how many people ask me for a ride. Sometimes when I'm driving just a regular like little family crossover or something like that, people go, oh, is that what you're driving this week? I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. And nothing happens. When I drive a car like this, I legitimately have about a dozen people going, can I go for a ride? Can you take me for a spin? Can we just go around the block? I want to see what this car is like. Can you pop the hood? And that is what this accomplishes. It really is something that everybody is like, oh my God, that makes how much horsepower? Yeah, almost 800 from the factory with a warranty. Thanks to Dodge for providing this vehicle for a week. I've had a ton of fun. I am honestly insanely shocked that, well, one, I didn't go to jail, but I was being responsible. Two, there's still tread on the rear tires. That's always good. Three, I did 23 mpg on a 300-mile drive. I just kept looking down at the display. I was like, all right, and my range was verified. I ran it almost empty because it was a late night drive back to Michigan and filled it all the way back up. I was like, all right, look at that. That blows my mind. That absolutely is impressive. To some people, 23 mpg might sound just abysmal, but you have to remember what this thing is. And with that, we shall conclude this review. It was a ton of fun. I know this platform's been out for a bit. A lot of people have covered the Redeye, but I just really was happy to get to spend a week with this. I have a love for American muscle cars. I've owned a couple myself, spent some time with a lot of them, and it's just, they don't worry about a lot of things except for making you smile and being just a great amount of fun and power for the money. And that is what the world's fastest four-door muscle car production will do. The Hellcat Charger Redeye. Thanks for watching.